Police are investigating how two American Catholic high school students wound up dead at a car dealership across the Texas border in Ciudad Juarez. Telemundo's Jose Diaz-Balart is checking into this story. What are you learning about what happened there?
Contessa, still the investigation continues after Saturday's massacre at a car dealership. What we do know is that two young men that went to high school in El Paso were in Ciudad Juarez. They were with a 17-year-old friend of theirs who lives in Juarez. They were, according to some of the family I've spoken to, going there to have something to eat, and were enticed by something at this car dealership, which, according to the family members, was just across the street from the restaurant they were at. They went inside just at that moment. Again, according to a preliminary investigation, these thugs came in and said, "Where's the car dealership owner?" No one knew, so they just opened fire. It's not that unusual. You know, in Juarez and other cities in northern Mexico, these drug cartels have instituted a thug tax, essentially taxing business owners so that they are able to continue selling their wares. It could just have been that these young men were at the wrong place at the wrong time. But Contessa, you know, the fact is that there's a lot of ties between Juarez and El Paso, and it's not unusual for people to go between these two cities, even though El Paso, one of the safest cities in the United States, and Juarez, one of the most dangerous places on earth.
And when you're looking at these three victims, one boy was 15, one boy was 16, one boy was 17. Two of them reportedly went to Catholic high schools in El Paso. And I mean, how common is it to go back and forth then, even if you're, because I know a lot of people are going to be looking at this, and in the newsroom the question's been raised, why would their parents let them go across the border? But the report here is one of them may have even been living in Ciudad and then traveling to school every day in El Paso.
Yeah. You know, I've been, and we have been on MSNBC right there in the bridge, the international bridge, one of the international bridges that separates El Paso from Juarez, and people cross over all day and all night. A lot of them work in one place, go to the other ones to go home, the other city to go home, and vice versa. There's a lot of people that live with their parents in, let's say, El Paso, and their grandparents live in Juarez, so they go very regularly.
In this case, at the car dealership, there were no witnesses. They say that they have found 60 bullet casings at the scene. Was anybody else at the dealership hurt?
Yeah, that's what we really don't know. We know that these three kids were the ones that were closest to these gunmen when they came in. That is still sketchy. The police in Mexico haven't said much. But Contessa, if I could just give you a quick recap, for example, just so our viewers get a context of how violent northern Mexico can be.
Yeah.
Just overnight, in the last 24 hours, 5 people dead in Zacatecas, 2 dead in Veracruz, 4 dead near Acapulco, 6 in Coahuila, 6 in Durango, and 3 in Sinaloa. And that's just when I did a preliminary recap over some of the violence that occurred in northern Mexico, and this has to do because these cartels want to be as close as possible to their clients that are U.S. drug consumers.
Jose, thank you so much for joining us today, bringing us the story. I know you continue to check in on it, and we'll have the latest on Telemundo.